Hello everybody, happy Energy Sword Sunday and welcome to another episode of Extreme Forge Makeover, where I go back in time to when I was 15, about 10 years ago in 2009, and I play some of my old Forge maps. I check them out, do a quick critique, talk about them, and then I go into Forge and I change them up, try and make them better. Jumping right in, this level is called Monotone. I don't know why it's called that. I just kind of named things that I thought were cool because it has many different colors, and it's not exactly a one beat kind of map. Right now it's got two main sections. We're in the first one here, and there's a connector in the middle right here. Leads to this force field with a power drain, and it leads to this platform that has a rocket launcher. Just rewinding a little bit, we're going to get a sky view following over the character. There's the first area leading into the second area with the rocket launcher. And there's two little sections on the side, but we'll look at those in a second. So there's kind of a nice two-level verticality to this level. Got some explosives there that you can shoot with the rocket launcher. A few platforms here with the battle rifle. Here's that force field so that I think you could get into like a power position with the rocket launcher and somebody can't just snipe you from the blue area back over there. Here's the energy sword. It's kind of weird. I like how it's in this little pocket here, but I don't like how close it is to the rocket launcher because you can literally just grab the rocket launcher, jump down, and then get the sword. And that's not a great combination, but you know, getting two power opens that easily is kind of weird. Here's the little side part I was talking about. Here's a little illustration of where I am going through it, so you have a good idea of the flow of the map and where I am. Don't like that side section. We're gonna actually edit it a bit later. And now we're back at where we spawned. The first section, I kind of call it blue spawn because there's a few pillars with the blue motif, even though there's kind of another connector at the bottom that's blue. This is kind of a nice little lockout type area. It's a one-way street unless you know how to grenade jump out. But I think we'll put a shotgun in there just to get that lockout feel. Needler here. I don't know how useful it is in this exact position because there's kind of a medium area here, but nothing really to use it for. And as you can see here, I've only been playing a few minutes. I don't remember this map very much from when I was a kid. But jumping back into it, and I already find a way out of the map within a few minutes. So we're going to edit that in a little bit. Here we are out of the map, and you can see those kill balls in the distance by the side section there. And that was just to add like an interesting sound when you ran past. It's kind of a really annoying sound, which you'll see later. So let's just, that's about the entire map. So we're just going to jump into Forge now and edit what we can. These blocks, I don't really like them. They kind of break up the area too much. We're gonna delete those. These pillars in the corner, they kind of don't end in a stone like the rest of them, so it kind of looks ugly, especially since you can see them intersecting at the top. So we're just gonna put a stone there. You can make the jump from the side, but I don't think you can make it from the middle one. We'll change that in a bit. Too many battle rifles on the map. Doesn't really make sense for two battle rifles to be that close to each other, especially on a free-for-all map. Sniper rifle is too long range for this map, just like the last map I showed in the earlier episode. And here we go with more long-range weapons. That was kind of an issue I had when I used to make maps for Halo 3. Just too many battle rifles, too many carbines, so we're going to delete one from each side. I'm going to keep one of each type on each side. So we're going to have a carbine on one side and a battle rifle on the other. That should make it a little more interesting than just 4 accurate weapons spawning very close to each other. Gotta make it so that we can't get out of the map anymore. I was thinking maybe I could push that over and then we could jump out, but that was just me being lazy. So actually I'm going to change the timers with that old Forge trick where I can place the objects there, and then once everything spawns back into place, it'll look nice. Didn't use that technique very much with this map, I don't believe, but I'm using it now to kind of make up for the cracks in the level. Now it looks a lot better. That looks good. It's a little more airtight and overall a lot neater. I'm sure there's some way out. Everybody finds a way out of every map, but definitely a lot harder to do now instead of just one grenade jump. Get rid of these assault rifles. There's never really a reason to have assault rifles on the map unless you have just like one sitting somewhere, since usually with default Slayer you'll spawn with an assault rifle. More carbines than we need. Again, I'm going to get rid of those. And I always said we were going to turn that bottom pit into something like lockout, so I'm going to put that shotgun there. Keep those plasma grenades. I always like mixing plasma grenades with kind of close quarters weapons. I think it's interesting because you'll have those grenades, and if you're skillful enough, you might stick someone who has kind of the long range advantage on you, but you can still keep your shotgun out. Don't want the shotgun and the sword so close to each other, so I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to repurpose that little corner. At this point, I'm using a teleporter. I don't really like that idea. I thought about it for a little bit, and the main reason I was considering it is because without it, the only way back to this side of the map is through those two side parts. And that just doesn't seem interesting to me. And you could grenade jump in the middle, sure, but not a lot of people will do that, and you'll be lower health. So if somebody's spawning here, they'll just headshot you after that. So we'll probably edit that in a bit. Rocket launcher, I think it's way too OP on this upper position here, so we're going to replace it with something. But before we do that, I thought of an interesting visual idea, and that was kind of creating like an overhead sun. Like, we're just going to put a floating kill ball here, and I think it will look kind of interesting. You'll notice that's very loud. If I just unmute it for a second, you could hear it from this distance, and so you can imagine what it sounds like on the platform. We'll be moving it up a little bit, but that was by the side paths earlier. I deleted them. I think I forgot to record that part, but I deleted them from these side paths because it was way too loud and obnoxious. I wanted to add kind of a red light to that area to kind of make it more interesting, more visually interesting. It's a bit too much, but I just recorded this part because I thought it was interesting showing you how I got the red light into the area without just having it floating there. Because I could have it up by the kill ball, but it wouldn't be as effective in lighting the area. But what I decided to do was set a timer on the middle platform and stack everything to the desired height, and then I will place the light effect within the platform so it's not showing up in the actual map. So you can't see the actual light source, but it's still lighting the area. And you'll see that once everything respawns. There we go. And if I look to the side, you can't see the light source, but it's still lighting the area. It might be lighting it a bit too much. It looks fine here, but you'll see once I put any kind of weapon up there, it's going to shine like crazy, and it's going to look really, really bad. So we're going to edit that in a little bit. So I'm going to move the kill ball up a little bit because I like the idea of having it up here, but you could still hear it from the very bottom level, and that means it's way too loud. Gotta keep like audio in mind when you're designing the maps too, because you don't want to play on a map that's constantly making a loud fizzing noise because it's just terrible. But it sounds okay from here. You can kind of hear the slight fizzle sound from this distance, but it's not too loud, and if you're on the very bottom floor, you can't hear it at all, really. I decided to change the blocks in the corner here because you couldn't jump to it from the middle platform without a grenade jump, and I wanted kind of more space to stand on it too, so that this second level in this area is kind of more than just a few platforms. There's bigger corner sections too. I decided that I wanted to put some SMGs over here, kind of get some close quarter weapons, but as you'll see, the colliders are actually a little smaller than the visual aspect of the objects, so you can't, because it just falls through the part there and you can't see it. So I just deleted them, deleted that needler, deleted the spiker, because there's a few too many weapons on the map this small, so it gets kind of cluttered. I'm just going to rename it here and save as, because I'm going to try something pretty drastic and I didn't know if I wanted to go this route. So I just pretty much making a save state or like an iteration of the map before I continue. I decided that these ramps and these side paths were way too much. They're way out of the map. Like, you have to go through them, and it takes like a solid 6 seconds just to run through them, and it didn't seem like it would be fun for interactions. So I'm just kind of blocking them off, making them their own little side sections there, putting these walls in so that's perfectly sealed, and I'm going to actually use teleporters between those areas. So instead of having you run through them, so the map kind of flows faster and the action stays a little faster, I'm just gonna put teleporters at these little ends here, in place of the two main teleporters I had before. So each respective side is going to teleport to the other. It's not randomized. It's not like you're going to go to a random teleporter. You go through this one and you'll go to where that tunnel used to lead. So that still works. And just got to change the channels here so that they behave appropriately. And if we go through them, here we go, demonstrating it here. You go through them, you can run through. This is where all the action's going to happen. Teleport to the next area, and you're in the next section, and that's where all the action's going to happen. It's going to happen in those connectors and those two main areas. I'm testing different weapons for these areas, kind of unconventional weapon placements, not placements, but choices. Fuel rod isn't used very often in any maps. I thought maybe it might be interesting, but it would probably be a little OP, and it's a little too much, so not using that. We're just gonna delete that. Even more unconventional, I thought maybe it might be interesting to have a trip mine there, and you could stand there and be in a position where you would put that on a platform or throw it down by one of the teleporters, and that might be interesting. But I really wanted a power up in here, so we're gonna get rid of that too. I eventually just decided on the classic, just put the energy sword there. Going to the other side, we're putting the brute shot because I didn't want another power weapon in this area, but I thought maybe the brute shot might be nice. But then I changed my mind because I'm constantly changing my mind. I decided an overshield would be nice for where the sword used to be, and the power drain is going to. This is all going very fast, but I hope you can keep up because I edit it and then I record the audio. I'm noticing there's some cracks here in the ceiling, and it kind of looks uneven, kind of looks very unpolished. So I'm deleting those, and then I'm setting the spawn delay on those items so I can kind of fit in some platforms here, make it fit together nicely. It looks a lot better right there. It's still uneven at the very top, but you're not seeing through the edges of the tunnel, and it's not breaking that moment in the map right there. It looks a lot better. And there's some sections on the side here where it just looks really bad. I'm not fixing everything on the map, but some of them looked really bad, so I'm just throwing that in there. There we go. That looks a lot better. And I came up with this kind of wacky, really stupid concept here when I was just messing around. But I thought it might be fun if like a banshee flew over that area every once in a while and just blew up in that sun. I thought it was interesting, and it was worth looking into for a second, but I thought it was a little too wacky, a little too much, too unpredictable, and I couldn't hide the man cannon from sight if you're standing here and jumping. I'm adding the bubble shield down here because I think it would be nice. It kind of goes well with the shotgun, making sure the trip mine's staying in there. I got rid of that red light as you saw earlier. This is all going very fast. Sorry about that. Got rid of that red light because I thought it was a little too much. And I'm adding more accurate weapons on these side platforms because there's a little more distance between where they used to be. Because you have to jump to that middle platform, you can make or miss the jump, and you kind of have to jump between those. By the teleporters, I'm going to put these fusion coils, so there's a nice play where if somebody's trying to camp there, you can shoot the fusion coils and blow them up. Just testing out if you threw the mine there, how effective it would be. It's kind of cheap, but I think it's really fun, and it would be fun in kind of a social setting. Putting a plastic pistol here so that down that connector in the middle, you can maybe do a noob combo or something right there. Getting some spike grenades just because these are kind of clustered areas, so it's interesting if the spike grenade could get you. And that's about it. So just showing a quick grenade jump I have here with the overshield. That's about everything that I'm changing in the map. No flyover or anything because this video got kind of long, and I thought you'd have kind of a good feel of the map so far at that point. So I'm just going out of the map now. I'm done editing everything. I'm going to edit the description really quick though. Changing the 2 to 5 I think is a good number for how many people could feasibly enjoy this map at once. Maybe even 2 to 4 might be, 2 to 5 might be a little too much. But thanks for watching. I'm going to be making a few more of these videos. I just bought a copy of Halo Reach for like $3 online. And I have some maps on that as well, but I still got like 4 or so maps on Halo 3, so I'm going to go through those in the near future. Subscribe if you thought this video was interesting. Click this link if you haven't seen the first episode, and check out my Twitter. Looking forward to making more videos, and I hope you enjoy them. Hope you come over and watch them. Thank you.